You ever felt like no matter how hard you work, you're just not getting where you want to be? What if I told you that the secret to success isn't some fancy trick, but in actually loving the process itself? Well, in today's video, we're going to highlight the 9 success principles in this book, Chop Wood, Carry Water, that's going to help you get to greatness. Now, if you're new here, I'm Dr. Jeff Anzalone, periodontist that's on a mission to get you out of the rat race. Do me a favor, download the free Millionaire Mindset Checklist below the video. All right, so let's get into the 9 success principles. Number 1, it's important what you actually become in the process. So for all the work that you do, whether you treat patients, you work a job, if you're doing family projects, whatever, in the end, you're actually ultimately working on yourself. So for that reason, you should really love what you do no matter what you're doing throughout the day. So this helps with dealing with the different outcomes that life throws us. Then there's 2 of those, 2 outcomes. They're controllable, what you can control, and those that you cannot control. So for instance, let's say that you recently applied for a job that happens to be, let's say, in the best hospital in the country. All right. Let's say you're a surgeon, you've done this. Well, you know that if you get the job, then your career path, you're pretty much going to be set, right? So let's look at what's controllable in this situation. You've got your qualifications. You have all your letters of recommendations lined up that have already been written on your behalf, okay? But then you also have to consider the things that you can't control. So these uncontrollable things would be who? Would be the competition, the people that are applying, all their different unique qualifications, and possibly maybe that they know somebody that works in the hospital you're trying to get in. All those things are not in your control. So what can you do? You can surrender the outcome. So this means basically just being at peace with what is outside of your control without sacrificing the efforts for what's inside of your control. Well, what do you control? You control the process. You control how to get there, and you control the way to get there. What do you not control? You don't control the outcome. Bottom line, focus on the process and one thing at a time. You're going to be much happier if you do that. Success principle number 2. Success contains hard work. All right. So actually, this principle was brought to my attention back in 2020, 2021 during the pandemic when the Last Dance documentary was launched. It was actually filmed. That was probably my favorite basketball team, pro basketball team growing up, Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, greatest player ever to play. So this was actually filmed during the 1997 and 1998 season because they were actually going for their 6th NBA title in 8 seasons. So of course it highlighted Michael Jordan. And when I was thinking back, whenever I was watching him play during my high school and college career, I really never figured somebody like him had to really work that hard because the dude was just unbelievable. I just thought he was a great basketball player. The documentary actually proved me wrong. This guy was a grinder. He was a grinder. He focused on the little things that made not only him, but his players around him better. He demanded success. He demanded success so much that his teammates actually feared him. I mean, what's not to love about that? So most people don't get what they want in life because they just settle for average. Now, it's the small things done with consistency, done with persistence in life that make success. So the bottom line of this principle is this: small choices that you can make throughout the day can add up to a big effect over time, just like MJ. Number 3, our value is constant. So when you're on a winning team, like you're playing for the Bulls, well, feeling good about yourself, it's easy, right? But when you're on the team playing the Bulls, when you're on a losing team, it's just as easy to feel sad, you feel down, you feel depressed. But here's the thing, our value doesn't change regarding the results produced in life. So don't tie yourself too close to your performance. Instead, find your identity in something that can't be easily removed. Number 4, the pain of regret is worse than the pain of discipline. So Jim Rohn once said, we must all suffer from one of 2 pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. Okay. And you and I both know we deal with and we face pain both mentally and physically every day. Now, I actually started feeling the effects of years and years of playing sports and actually treating patients, hunched over when I hit about 40. And looking back, I really miss those pain free mornings in my 20s and 30s, but that's just part of life. Once we accept that pain is unavoidable, then we shouldn't hide in fear from it. It's just a natural part of life. So ultimately, there are people out there who aren't willing to accept the fact about the pain and what they do, no matter what, they try to avoid pain no matter the cost. So by doing this, they constantly focus on the negative and they forget to enjoy and appreciate all the joys in life. So now that we know, hopefully, that pain is unavoidable, we then get to choose between the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Okay? Let's start off with the pain of discipline. The pain of discipline is felt every day. That's why it only weighs ounces, okay? Because we're dealing with it every day. It's the discipline to sprint while everybody else is jogging. It's the discipline that you are tracking your macros. You can do it on your phone. I do it all the time on an app for free on my phone. So it's the discipline to do that before you eat. It's a discipline to avoid the cake and the Snickers bars while you're trying to lose weight. That you do that every day, okay? But each individual moment, again, it weighs very little, but added up over time, it starts to weigh a lot. And that starts to weigh tons. And that ton of pain can begin to form into regret. So for example, you regret not knowing what you're capable of. Maybe you're at a job right now and you're like, man, I really wish I could go out on my own and start this business or whatever, but I don't want to give up my 401k. I don't want to give up. I get health benefits. I'm just going to sit here. I don't want to do any risk. Again, you're going to regret not knowing what you really be capable of. You're going to regret not actually going out and chasing that dream. And then you regret, again, stopping short of your potential. You know your potential, but you regret because you know what? I don't know. So it's this pain of regret. That's what becomes the heavy weight that unfortunately most of us, we carry that weight around our whole life. On the other hand, the pain of discipline is just a series of small pains that, guess what? They quickly disappear. Success principle number 5. Your memories actually come from the stories that you tell yourself, okay? So whenever we experience something, our brains are either going to label it positive or negative, okay? We have a little control over many of the things that happen to us in life, but we do have control over what those things actually mean to us. Our words, our self-talk, what we're telling ourselves all the time, that actually determines the stories that actually life creates for us. So those pictures that you're creating in your mind, creating in your brain, these pictures, they start to affect your feelings. And then you have to figure out what you want to do with them. Okay. So those pictures, they affect our feelings, and then they also affect what we do with them. So by doing this, we set ourselves up for either failure or success. It all comes down to what we're telling ourselves all the time. Number 6, probably one of my favorite ones, is comparison is the thief of all joy. Too many people today, we live our lives. What are we trying to do? We're trying to keep up with everybody else. We're trying to keep up with the Joneses. Social media. I mean, many times you look at social media, you look at Facebook, you look at Instagram, TikTok, all this. It paints this unrealistic picture of what's really going on out there in society. Guess what? There's always going to be, and I tell my 2 teenagers this all the time, there's always going to be somebody out there that's smarter than you, that's bigger than you, that's stronger than you, that's faster than you, that is eventually going to make more money than you. There's always somebody out there, okay? And if you have this comparison, so this constant comparison all the time on social media or whatever, it does nothing but it just completely sucks all the joy out of your life. You think sometimes I think I have, stuff going on good, and I got a nice house, great family, nice cars, whatever. Then I go to a place like a few weeks ago in Miami, and it's just like you pull up and there's these $500,000 cars. Everybody lives in these 20, 30, $40 million houses where we were at. I'm like, and I just start laughing because there's no way, I'm in my little town in Louisiana, but when you get out into some of these bigger towns, it's like what I have is like nothing. So I have to be content of where I am now. I don't want this comparison to suck all the joy out of my life. So what you can do instead is you focus on life's journey and appreciate, be thankful, show gratitude for what you have, no matter how big or small. Principle number 7, you want to live by principles, not by your feelings. So if you live by your feelings, you know that, like the song, feelings change. They can change just like this. So you can feel happy one minute, and the next thing you know, you can be sad or mad or angry or whatever. So living by principles is different. Whereas feelings change, principles don't. Principles stay the same. So examples can include, you want to think big, just like the book that I have over here, The Magic of Thinking Big. You can set goals. That could be your principle. You can work hard. Remember what we said about working hard? That is what success can change. So all those things stay the same. All right. Success principle number 8, the map that you're given by society is outdated. So let me explain it. So it seems that if most people today, they're following the map given to them by society, but there's just one map. But guess what? That map is outdated. Maps don't change with the times, okay? You have your map here and, that's it. But instead of actually using them, what you can do is find people that have success, find people that have what you want, people to mentor you, which is what I've started doing now. Find who has what you want, get them to mentor you in whatever field, investment, whatever you're interested in. So for instance, when I wanted to learn more about real estate investing years ago, I searched for and I actually found a local mentor here. He had tons of experience. And I spent 2 hours with him. That 2 hours, I told my wife, I learned more in that 2 hours with him in his office than I did like in 3 or 4 years of college. That is just how powerful this can be. And what he did, he explained to me how when he was investing 30 years from now, the way that he was investing then is much different than how he approaches things now. So here's the thing. You must always learn to change and adapt with the times, or guess what? You're going to get left behind. And the last principle is this. You still need permission, even when you're equipped with life-changing wisdom, to give that wisdom. So what this means is, even if you have knowledge, you can look back, wisdom is, with age. So I can look back, I had a lunch the other day with somebody that just got right out of dental school. Well, I've been out for over 20 years. So looking back, I can give this person the wisdom. I can say, look, if I had to do it all over again, I would not do this, this, and this. I would do it like this. I told her, I said, look, I would immediately focus on replacing my income with cash flowing, appreciating assets. So you basically, you don't have to go treat patients. You have other things like real estate or businesses paying for your monthly expenses. I would do that as quickly as possible because I've had this experience of doing it the other way. But here's the thing, even because I had that knowledge or whatever that can benefit them, there's no point in me trying to force it on that person, especially when they're not ready to listen. Okay. And I tell my kids this all the time. A lot of times I'll say, hey, look, guys, you need to focus on this, or, set up this, they want to make money. Hey, maybe you should do like this quarterback camp, or you should teach tennis lesson, this and that. And they're like, ah. And I realize this quote, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, because at that point, they're not ready to listen. So what's the point of trying to do it? But when they are ready, that's when you can do that. So think about this. Let's say you had an overweight friend. Would you tell them about how to lose weight, or the different exercises they could do, or different things that they could eat, if they didn't even think that they were fat, or that if they didn't even think they needed to lose weight? No, you wouldn't. But once they do realize that, and once they do commit, hey, you know what? I'm starting to get some health issues. I'm suffering. I'm out of breath all the time. I can't even hardly bend over to get put my shoes on. When they're ready to commit to eating better, to exercising, to tracking their macros, then you have the permission to share what you know that can help them. Okay? So let's face it. We've all been through tough times, and we're going to keep doing that as long as you are alive here on earth. There's really no way around it, but you do have a choice. You can allow life to win and stay beaten down, because you're going to have failures, you're going to have problems, or you can get up. You can learn from your failures. You can learn from your mistakes. I always tell my kids, I'm always failing forward. I'm learning from my mistakes, and we keep moving forward. So the main takeaway, if I could sum it up, that I got with this book is this: success lies in doing simple things over a long period of time. If you learn to chop wood, carry water, then success is eventually going to come. Now, if you enjoyed this, do me a favor, like this video and hit that little share button. Send it to somebody who you think would benefit from this, and the algorithm will help me continue to help you. Take care.